with Major Joe Billingsley. Major Billingsley is the founder of the Military Cyber Professionals Organization. He was commissioned into the Military Intelligence Branch and is an active duty Army strategist, functional area 59, currently serving in Army Cyber Command's G5 section. Major Billingsley has a Bachelor of Arts in History from the University of Connecticut, a Master of Science in Cyber Systems and Operations from the Naval Postgraduate School, and he is currently pursuing a PhD in Information Sciences, and he is the first Army Cyber Scholar, which is a program I encourage folks to ask him about if you're interested. So please welcome Major Joseph Billingsley.
Thanks, Alexa. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you some of the work that I've been doing over the past couple of years. I did promise Sergeant Major Lawson that after lunch here, I'm not going to put you all to sleep, right after lunch. So that being said, if you have like Nerf balls or whatever that you need to throw and I need to dodge to, mix this up a little bit, feel free to check those my way. But anyway, so yeah, the work that I did over at the Naval Postgraduate School and continuing to do is focused on developing the DoD cyber workforce, or what we're now calling the American military cyber profession, and using innovation as a way to actually make that happen. So this is our agenda here. What I'd like to start out with just explaining, so yeah, like what was mentioned, Functionary 59, Strategic Plans and Policy Officer, Strategist. I was over at the Naval Postgraduate School as the first Army Cyber Scholar. Thank you very much, General Hernandez, for making that happen, giving me that opportunity. So I really had, I was lined up to do something of strategic import and interest that satisfied the strategist folks and, everything I want to do there, and also the Army Cyber Command. And my time over at the Naval Postgraduate School was really a great opportunity to fuse that and to do it in a really novel and innovative way to make that happen. And the byproduct of the research that I did was the founding of the Military Cyber Professionals Association. So I'm going to explain to you a little bit about that organization and the process of innovation that I used to actually develop it. So first, let's start with terms. So what is innovation? There are different schools of thought on that topic. Some folks equate that to a good idea, new widget, software solution, flux capacitor, something like that. And that's one school of thought, the more ideation side of things. Another school of thought is about adoption. So Dr. Denning, what he wrote in his book, The Innovator's Way, was describing innovation as the adoption of a new practice within a community. And so that's how we're going to understand innovation for this particular case. And it really provides a much more holistic look at innovation, and really including not only the design, creative aspect of it early on to come up with that new idea, that new practice, but really all the work and resources and time that go into the follow-through to really get it adopted into the target community. So what do innovators need? It really helps if you actually have an opportunity to be exploited, really dots that aren't connected yet. What helps with that, if you have expertise in that particular domain that you're looking at, in the book The Innovator's Way, that was operationalized of about 10 years working in a particular domain or a particular field, so that not only that you have the credibility to follow on into the adoption, selling aspect of the innovation itself, but then also to recognize if those opportunities are legitimate or not, where the gaps currently exist, where bridges still need to be built. And of course, there's the social interaction aspect of it as well, doing things like this. So part of the framework, the generative framework that I applied to take this innovation from design through to adoption in the intended community, there are 8 practices, interrelated, ongoing, not consecutive, but for this discussion, we'll structure it by just going through each one consecutively from top to bottom. So the first grouping is really the main work of invention, which is really sensing what's out there from all different sources and then envisioning what really can be possible. The second grouping is the main work of adoption, which is work, a lot of work. Can be fun, though. I can attest to that. And then the final grouping is something that I think comes a lot more naturally to us military types. The environment, the executing, the leading, the embodying. This is something that we do already, so I'm going to spend a lot less time talking on that. So, as far as sensing, as a good Army strategist, I started with strategic planning guidance from the Army, from DOD, from the inspiring words of commanders like General Hernandez, talking about the need to worry about the people that are doing cyber and the gaps that exist there. In addition to that, I used operational experience from the field, my academic experience, my own personal experience, from really all different types of sources to think through this. Research that was done in this problem area, really looking at who is the military cyber profession, the DoD cyber workforce, as it can also be referred to as, and really breaking that down, understanding the needs, what's been done in the past as far as trying to meet those needs, and also the efforts of like-minded organizations that are doing great things for the field, but still where those gaps really exist and what their own capabilities are, and really articulating, again, where those gaps are, where the dots still need to be connected. So going on, envisioning. So I had this idea rattling around in the back of my head for a long time about the need for a professional association for the cyber community, going back to a few years earlier when I was attending a Signal Ball over in Europe, and they had established the Army Cyber Command, U.S. Cyber Command, and now they had the Cyber Ball. And in that, I just remember thinking to myself, you know, there should be an association someday when somebody has some time on their hands to put something like that together, to actually stand up something like that to support cyber balls, cyber conferences, all these types of things, doing those things that are kind of standard amongst kind of military regimental associations within the American defense culture. Do those types of things. Some aspects that a professional association or professional society can offer the given community is developing a code of ethics. So, and that became much more relevant given, you know, a lot of concerns about privacy and you know, the public's focus on that. So actually today on our MCPA intranet, we have a crowdsourced project put together to develop that right now. Inspiring and influencing initial professional education. We also have that underway currently. Strengthening and continuing to develop our relationships with certain organizations like the Cyber Center of Excellence, like the folks over at the Naval Postgraduate School, like the Navy's Information Dominance Corps Center for Excellence, and of course the Army Cyber Institute who put this together today. Thank you again, by the way. I knew I wanted to have a collective intelligence function to this as well, and there's you could think of it kind of as crowdsourcing, but bringing in a lot of very diverse perspectives, also lowering barriers to the people that you want at the table to get there. So one way that I was able to operationalize that was to make membership to this organization free for all the appropriate groups of people, for example. So I knew that it needed to be embedded within American military culture and history and heritage, whether you're talking about the heraldry aspect, something, a symbol that not only appreciates the heritage of the organization, but also the mission of this community in the future as well. And also further embedding it into the existing incentive structures. So one thing that's very normal for these types of organizations to do is offer some type of medal. So we now have our own medal, which has been dished out to those who have made special contributions to the field. I knew I needed to do it all without getting myself in trouble, so I was definitely reading joint ethics regulations along the way and consulting with plenty of lawyers on the East Coast, West Coast, and everywhere in between in order to do this as an entrepreneur. And also, you know, particularly with this, this community that really prioritizes security, that was at the forefront of all of my planning when I stood up all of our web presence that we have and even the events that we do, making sure that they happen in places where there's some access control there as well. And when I hit a brick wall as far as what my skill set allowed, such as developing a business concept, which I had no prior experience doing, I went and got appropriate help. So I participated in the California State University, Monterey Bay, sponsored event called Startup Weekend, helping to take business ideas, startup ideas, and really develop their business concept. So I was able to tap into a lot of folks with a lot of great experience there, business professionals from Silicon Valley, and also had experience over at the Naval Postgraduate School as well. So the end result is we developed an organization with a mission to develop the American military cyber profession and invest in our nation's future through STEM education. So the first part is kind of self-explanatory based upon what I said before. The second part about the STEM education, focusing on the K through 12 kids, is really about getting ourselves right long-term as a nation, whether you're talking about security-wise or economic-wise as well. And the vision right here is really following through on what the American people expect of us. Making sure cyberspace is secured, ensuring that we work together as a team, making sure that we actually have a real profession that's really taking this area seriously. And this vision has resonated with a lot of folks. On the follow-through of offering, the first folks that I had to offer it to were at the Sobrowski Center for Innovation over at the Naval Postgraduate School, headed by Dr. Denning, who just so happened to write that Innovator's Way framework, which I used, so he wound up being my thesis advisor. Next thing I did was establish a web presence, set up a pretty basic website with our mission and vision on there, a donate button, of course, and also worked with the Naval Postgraduate School Public Affairs Office to get a couple articles out there on the net. And it's really funny the way that information propagates across the net and really finds its intended target. So I was contacted by OSD Cyber Policy, and their folks came on board behind the concept. And actually, Major General John Davis, who is their uniformed chief there, he came on board as actually a member of my thesis committee. So that was great. That was a lot of support there, a lot of credibility added to the effort as well. So along the way, there's been a lot of talking, a lot of walking, a lot of presenting, a lot of traveling, with folks at all different echelons and from all different types of communities, trying to get us all on board together. So this is great. Again, Colonel Conti, thank you for the invitation here to get the word out. And again, Colonel Conti, this is one of the happier practices, the adoption part of it, is seeing people adopt this innovation and making it their own, really. So whether that's at the Army Cyber Institute, over at the Naval Postgraduate School, soon to be down at Fort Gordon, and here today in the D.C. area. Actually, just last week, we had a great social hosted by the National Capital Region Chapter President, Chris Cleary there. Thank you very much. That went off very well. So this is a great aspect of things here. The sustaining part of it, the practice, is really building the structure that's going to see it through, where it's sustainable. And lucky for us, this particular community is full of very intelligent, very motivated people, very patriotic people who, if the mission and the vision has resonated with them, they've raised their hand and said, I would like to help however I can. So thank you guys for that, for the many of you who have done that already. Going on, as far as sustaining, and part of it is following through on promises made. So part of that is getting members for the past couple of years invited to after parties out in Vegas, which has been pretty cool. Next year I'll attend, I promise. Also, this is Dr. Aquila here over at the Naval Postgraduate School, a thinker in cyber war and information warfare. Him and others have signed on to contribute to our video library of a series on developing the profession. So that's also available on the association's YouTube channel. And of course, the means, some money keeping our head above water, if you will, in making all this happen at still the beta phase, really. A small IT company out of Silicon Valley, NetFuel, they've kicked in a few bucks to help us do that. And as far as, like I said before, as soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marine, we're leaders. We do this. This is what we do. So really, these particular practices, not going to cover here today, since they're really part of this crowd already. That you understand those plenty, and that's part of why I really think that the military community in particular, some great innovators coming out of it, and also we have great opportunities to embed the process of innovation within our community as well. Today, I'm happy to say we have hundreds of members everywhere from Afghanistan to the Pentagon, Silicon Valley, New York City, and really everywhere in between. And just by a quick show of hands, who here is a member of the association? Great, great, great. And also, after today, who here plans on joining or otherwise supporting it? Okay, I see a few hands there. That's good, that's good. We've got you recorded here. So. But yeah, this is great. It's very encouraging what we've been able to do so far with very, very limited means. And so once we continue on with the development tomorrow, it's only going to become that much more powerful of a movement. So like I alluded to, in the future, we're further developing the organization, including in that is getting our nonprofit status with the IRS done, things of that nature. Programs coming online, so actually I'm really excited about the establishment of the Journal of the American Military Cyber Profession, which will be coming online in the near future. We have a number of PhDs and very, very, very intelligent folks from across this community, some of the greatest minds in this community participating who have raised their hand to lead this journal, manage this journal, be on the editorial board, and from right now almost all of the degree-producing institutions across the DoD. So that's very encouraging, and I'm really looking forward to that continuing on. Other programs that we currently have had and are going to be continuing to develop on our intranet, again, some crowdsourced types of listings of different types of opportunities, whether you're talking about events or conferences or scholarships and the like. Events, different events coming online like I alluded to. This organization, it is less like a spider, more like a starfish, where the chapter leadership really has a great deal of autonomy, and they're really able to take the initiative in line with our mission and values and policies, and really make great things happen within their own communities, whether you're talking about professional development type of events, as simple as a few folks getting together for a brown bag lunch and discussing hacking TTPs, to professional social events, like we just had last week. And also continuing on research and supporting research. So being that this organization was founded as a byproduct of some graduate research that I had done and still continues to be as part of my PhD research with the Naval Postgraduate School, definitely stand by to support that. So if you're interested in trying to leverage your organization for research purposes, you can hit me up offline about that. Also, the research having to do with innovation, we're looking at how to really institutionalize that within the military culture, the American military culture. Some examples that I've found, actually a really encouraging one has been with the DIA, their innovation office. Another, something outside of the official structures, the Defense Entrepreneur Forum. So examples of defense personnel getting together and really doing innovation. It's something very encouraging and that we're also looking to support more and more into the future. So some just basic takeaways here. I think innovation can be very, very relevant. It's not mysterious. There's a process to it to take good ideas, vet them, and resource them appropriately to actually have them adopted into the target community. It is a lot of hard work. I could definitely attest to that. My wife can attest to that. I don't know how many weekends that I've spent, learning how to build out the website in a very secure fashion, as opposed to being out in Monterey dodging, great whites on the surf and stuff like that. And it can absolutely be a lot of fun. For those of you who attended the social that we had last week or other events out on the West Coast, you can attest to that. So with that, any questions, comments, or concerns, I'm happy to cover. Sir.
You talked about, you mentioned the K-12 STEM. What is your vision for that as an organization?
Okay, so how we do that is really connecting up interested members with opportunities in their own local communities. So on the application form, you can indicate if you're interested in that particular program or not, and then that is seen by the chapter leadership to see who's interested in these types of programs, and then the local STEM outreach coordinator at the chapter level, then they go ahead and they see what's available, what they already know about, or just even support the members who are already doing these types of things as well. And that could be as simple as doing up a memo signed by the chapter president that says, Sergeant Joe Schmidlap, contributed 200 hours to this particular volunteer activity. Put that in, that soldier is then recognized, with a volunteer medal according to their unit's policies, for example. Other types of things that we have in place, simply a coin of excellence that the organization has minted. Given enough volunteer work in these types of activities, we have a medal that somebody can be recognized with. So things like that, sir. Yes, sir.
So we've been doing this a while. And the reason why we asked Joe here is there's certain people that are relentless about making facilitating the type of changes necessary and professionalizing the court. Every 3 months there's a new innovation. So could you walk us around? You kind of used the formal model, but can you walk us around like the activities that how you use social media, like the contours of what you've built?
Sure.
Because I think there's a lot of interesting lessons learned that we can apply in our organizations as well.
Sure. So I definitely wanted to create a trusted forum, and part of the trust aspect is that it's technically secure as well. I just want to mention real quick, we leverage Google's cloud, and then as our perimeter, and then who we let into that perimeter. We have a very robust screening process and active CI element as well. And it's kind of like being on the range. Everybody's a safety officer, so in our forums, everybody's an OPSEC officer as well. It's all in class. And so we started out actually with forums. One version of it, I tried to have everybody in the organization. This is very, very early on when there was even less than 100 people, so I was kind of experimenting with it. But trying to have everybody in one big forum, and that didn't work very well. It wasn't, it just didn't work very well. I then made the decision to go where the people are, to go, and create a space on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Google+, create groups there that are by invite only, that is tied to our screening process, that the public doesn't see, and people can request to join, but unless they've already had that particular account associated with their approved account, they're not getting in. So kind of going to where the people are to make it comfortable for them, to allow those types of discussions to happen. And again, to really get a very diverse crowd in there as much as possible. And really the power of that, that collective intelligence crowdsourcing, that type of approach is huge, and really an opportunity for, all these new things that are coming out. So now there's a forum for folks to then post that, discuss it, get a whole bunch of different, comments from people who should be there. people who have made the effort to join this organization and who have met all of our criteria.
It scales, right? It's scalable.
Roger. Absolutely, sir.